Hello friends, welcome to my channel Same's Biology. In this particular video, we will discuss about the most important part of the buccal cavity, that is our tongue. So in the previous class, we have already discussed about the roof of the buccal cavity, that is the palate. One term we need to know here. Let's know some important terms related with the buccal cavity, as we have already talked about the uvula or the subhanging structure from the posterior part of the palate, that is the uvula. Now we will talk about another term which is known as vestibule. Vestibule. So what is vestibule? Vestibule is the gap between the lip and the teeth. The gap between the lip and the teeth is known as vestibule. So it is gap between lips and teeth. Clear? Next, the important term which is related with our buccal cavity, it is outside the buccal cavity on our upper lip, that is the philtrum. So what is philtrum? Philtrum is the depression in our upper lip below the nose. So it is the depression on upper lip below nose. So it can be easily seen from outside, the depression that is present below the nose on the upper lip. It is called philtrum. So we need to know this: philtrum, vestibule and uvula. So these are three very important terms. Next, we will discuss about the floor now, that is the tongue. So how tongue has important role and what is its structure and how it helps in tasting various food. Okay, so now we will discuss about the structure of the tongue. So let me draw it first, the tongue. So it looks like this. At the center we have a structure like this. Then here we will find some foldings. Then here we will have the circumflex papillae. We will talk about the papillae, different types of papillae. Okay, so the structure is like this, and behind this there is the epiglottis. As I have already told you in my previous class, that epiglottis is the structure that prevents the entry of food into the windpipe. Okay, as the uvula do not allow the food from buccal cavity to enter the nasal cavity, likewise the epiglottis do not allow the food to enter the windpipe. It will close the windpipe while swallowing food. The food can only enter into the esophagus, not to the trachea. Okay, so the structure is like this. Okay, as we know, there are 4 different types of taste buds in our tongue. What are they? Sweet, that is present at the tip, then salt, sour, and at the end, at the posterior most part, it is the bitter. So bitter is at the posterior most part and sweet taste buds are at the anterior most part of the tongue. That is the reason why we swallow the medicines that will taste bitter. We will throw the medicine as much inward as we can and drink water so that it will cross the bitter zone of taste. Okay, so these are the 4 different types of taste buds which are present in our tongue. Next, we will talk about the papillae. So what is taste papillae? So taste papillae are of 4 different types. They are present in our tongue. So the papillae are the filiform, fungiform, circumvallate, and the here we will have the filiform Populi, then the fungiform, then these V-shaped, these 4 plus 4, 8 V-shaped papillae is called circumvallate papillae, and here the folial papillae are there. Okay, so folial papillae are at the lateral side. It is foliate. Okay, so the foliate papillae are at the lateral side of the tongue, which has less function. But remember, filiform, fungiform, and circumvallate are important. Why it is called filiform papillae? Because it is derived from the word phylum, which means thread-like. Likewise, fungiform means it is mushroom-shaped papillae. So these are papillae, means these are the different parts of the tongue where the taste buds are present, except the filiform papillae. All other papillae are involved in taste. So fungiform, foliate, circumvallate, all these 3 different papillae contains some taste buds, while filiform papillae is not concerned with detection of taste, but it is related with sensory function. So filiform papillae plays important role in identifying the sense. Okay, so other papillae help in detecting the different tastes as they contain taste buds. The tongue is not free. It is attached to a particular place in the buccal cavity, which is known as frenulum. It is also sometimes known as frenum. Frenum or frenulum is the place of attachment of tongue in the buccal cavity. So there are 4 different important terms. Vestibule, yes, it is the gap between lip and the teeth. Filtron, it is the depression on the upper lip below the nose. Then frenulum or frenum, it is the point of attachment of the tongue in the buccal cavity. Another, in the previous lecture we have uvula, which means it is present at the posterior part of the palate or the soft palate and helps in it will not allow the food to enter the nasal cavity. It helps in controlling the movement of food in the buccal cavity. Okay, so frenum and frenulum is important. Another thing I should mention here, the one type of mucus gland is present here also. I have talked about the Ebner's gland, okay, palatine gland. It was the palatine gland which is present in the palate on the roof of the buccal cavity. Here in the floor of the buccal cavity, in the tongue, another mucus gland is present, and that is Ebner's gland. So Ebner's gland is the gland present in the tongue, which is a mucus gland. It secretes mucus. Okay, so Ebner's gland is very important. Next, Filiform Populi, or this one is foliate. Filiform Populi, which is sensory in function, are having the minimum size, and circumvallate are the largest papillae. Filiform is the smallest papillae. Circumvallate papillae are 8 to 12 in number, and they form V-shaped structure. So this is the structure V-shaped made by the 8 to 12 number of the circumvallate papillae. Okay, so this is all about the structure, the important functions also, because it determines the taste. Okay, so different types of papillae which are present on the tongue. At the end, remember here the tonsil is present. Tonsil is present on either side of the glottis. This is the glottis, the structure. On either side of the glottis, tonsil is present. Okay, so sometimes the tonsil enlarges in size, causing pain on our buccal cavity, okay, on the throat. Next, we will discuss about the function in detail, the function of the tongue. So one thing here, remember, the Filiform Papillae is related with sensory function, or they are tactile in function. Clear? So now we will discuss about the different functions of the tongue. So what are the important functions? Number one, what are the functions of tongue? The number one function is mastication. What do you mean by mastication? Mastication means chewing. So in chewing of food, although the teeth play important role, but without the help of tongue, we cannot chew our food completely, because tongue helps in taking the food below the teeth for mastication or chewing. Number two, it is the taste. The tongue helps in detecting taste, as we already discussed about the 4 different types of taste buds present on the tongue. So taste, very important for us. Okay, so to detect various types of taste in food, the tongue plays important role. Next, it will help in deglutition. What do we mean by deglutition? Deglutition means swallowing. After chewing or after mastication, we need to swallow the food, which is done by the tongue. Next is secretion. Secretion, as I have told you that here Ebner's gland is present, which is a mucus gland. So the tongue also plays important role in secretion of different enzymes. Number 5, we will have cleaning. So tongue is considered as a universal brush. It is not known to God that we will use different types of toothbrush to polish or to clean our teeth. That is the reason why there is the inbuilt cleaner or inbuilt toothbrush, that is our tongue, which helps in cleaning the teeth or the buccal cavity. Next we have another function of the tongue, that is it helps in drinking also. It helps in drinking. So to drink food, the tongue is used like a spoon. It helps in drinking different liquid food or water. And the seventh one is very important also. The tongue helps in talking. So in speaking, the tongue is used. So these are the various important functions of the tongue. That is the reason why I in the beginning of this video told you that the tongue is the most important structure in the buccal cavity. It has very important functions. So in this video lecture we understand what is philtron, what is the uvula, what is the frenum or frenulum, and what is the vestibule. Clear? So remember these important terms and which are the different parts. We call them in different names. What is the role of the different types of papillae, different type of taste buds, and most important, what are the different functions of the tongue. In my next video tutorial, we will discuss in detail about the structure, type and function of tooth. Thank you very much.